Because of the rapid changes in technology, engineering curricula has become packed with technical classes. I think in general, faculty feel that it's important to have the students exposed to a number of these new and fast-moving areas in technology. However, there's also pressure from the legislatures to reduce the number of credit hours because of the high cost associated with higher education at this time. And so this puts obvious pressures on what actually can be covered in the classroom, and unfortunately puts pressure on topics that we consider important, like social justice in the engineering curriculum.
There was an incident in one of my thermodynamics classes a few years ago where I assign a significant amount of writing. Students do learning reflections, and they are asked to, with every problem set, there is a short 1-2 page kind of writing assignment that relates in some way to current energy topics or to engineering ethics and so on. And the student was very frustrated, and she held up a problem set and said, "This is engineering." And then she held up the writing assignment for that week and said, "This isn't engineering." And so she had, what was wonderful about that is that she had gotten to a place where she felt ownership over the canon, if you will, over what belongs in an engineering class. She had come to say that she as a student knows what she should be learning. And that was the most important moment as far as the pedagogies go. That was a really key point. At the same time, we can't ignore the power relations of her reinforcing what she believes the engineering establishment wants her to be learning.
I encountered several difficulties with the course. One was time. There just wasn't enough time to prepare for the course and teach it. It was really little things like I had to go before the class, every single class, to move desks out of the way, get chairs in a circle, because most classes are taught using desks in rows. And so, that time adds up. And then, of course, if you're spending time modifying content and, if you're a faculty member or a graduate student, I imagine you have other things to do as well, which, I had my own research to work on.
And I can tell you that there's definitely some pushback against doing this type of work. And it's not so much that the administration or department heads or anything are against this type of work, but their primary concern is that you're able to obtain enough funding in order to keep the institution running. And that's really what it comes down to.
While on the one hand, we in the U.S. are trying to recruit new students to engineering using social justice language, saying that engineering is a humanitarian profession, that engineering can be used to do social good. Our students often come in with very idealistic goals, but come out looking at their opportunities, which are very limited.
At one point, I was told by the faculty to stick to the syllabus, that my modifications to the syllabus were not welcome. The way I was teaching the class wasn't really critiqued, but the extra items I brought in about positionality and reading media sources in the Freudian sense weren't welcome. And so I did face resistance from faculty in that way.
For me, having come from an interdisciplinary background, I was able to see the resistance to social justice on a continuum with forms of resistance that I've experienced to interdisciplinary work prior to engaging engineering and social justice. So when I was working on chemical consumer products, part of the work I was doing was in the field of psychology, trying to understand human behavior and integrate that with engineering modeling. And to the extent that that was not considered engineering, I received negative feedback from senior colleagues.
The other method, and I think this is pretty good advice, this is how I've been playing the game, is to just do double duty. As long as you're doing the hardcore technical research and bringing in the funds, there is no reason that they're not going to let you do any kind of social justice work that really interests you.
I believe that the more we attend to the structural conditions underlying injustices, the more important it becomes to work within solution spaces so that students don't become despondent and don't forfeit their commitments to working for social justice.
I would say that for me, it's been very analogous to activist work that I do. That when you do something that resists power, power responds, and that response is though painful, it's also an indication that what you've done is making some kind of difference.
And I think as more and more of us obtain tenure and kind of climb the ranks of the establishment within academia, I think this will become more commonplace. And we're already seeing that. When I was at Penn State, sustainability was a bad word. Now it's a branding thing that the universities want to have, because it brings in more students. It brings in that kind of the younger, the more energetic faculty.
There are strategies for survival as well that are important, and that includes educating people and talking with as many people as possible about the work and finding supportive colleagues. And that's why I think the Engineering, Social Justice, and Peace Network is such a powerful collective, because many of us work in isolation in our universities and do face resistance, but we know that we have a group of folks that understands and that has our backs.